Everybody, welcome back. It's another show. It's another week. Marc and Bryon are here to talk to you about everything that we want to talk to you about. First off, Bryon, I know you're a longtime Whalers fan, so congratulations on the transplanted Whalers beating the Bruins in Game 7 of their series of the playoffs.
I heard about that.
And last night, the New York Rangers beat the Ice Chickens in Game 7 of their playoff series.
The Ice Chickens.
Yes. Ice Chickens. Pittsburgh Penguins. I call them Ice Chickens.
I know. Yeah.
So now that means they match up against each other.
Wow.
Round 2.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Whalers Rangers, for all those who still think the Whalers are actually alive.
Well, the Whalers aren't.
Yes, but there's people that think that the Hurricanes are still the Whalers for some reason.
Well, because that's where they moved to.
Yeah.
And in their defense, they do have Whalers night.
They do, for some reason. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's a business thing. Think about it. It's still one of the top.
Yeah, if you can prey off people's stupidity, then yeah, go for it.
It's not stupidity. If you like,
it is. The team left you, and you still root for them. That'd be like cheering for your ex-girlfriend.
They're not real. It's a sports team.
If you got a divorce,
it's nothing like
throwing it out there as an example. I say this to people all the time. All right, you're married, you get divorced.
Yeah.
A bad divorce. She just leaves you. Doesn't even give you a reason, just walks out, leaves, decides, you know what, I'm done here. I don't want to be here anymore. So she gets remarried and is very successful, gets very successful. And you don't end up with anything. You have nothing. You're just a regular guy, nothing.
I'm going to poke holes in this.
You still root for that person to succeed?
The team didn't want to leave. The town
wanted to leave. The owner who owned the team wanted to leave.
Because it wasn't
the team wanting to leave.
It wasn't a good market. It comes down to money, Mark. It's all money.
It comes down to them not doing marketing correctly to bring the people into the team.
Also, the team didn't win. They barely won. They were not
That's on the owner, not on the team. That's not on the town.
All right. Let's not argue. If you like what you like, who cares? You like wrestling. I think wrestling's dumb, but you like it. You enjoy it. It makes you happy. So there you go. If people enjoy the Whalers logo, which I think is one of the best logos in the NHL, so be it.
Okay.
So what?
Whatever.
What? Why do you care about people's happiness?
Because I just get annoyed by people who still root for a team that doesn't exist.
Who cares? Actually, the Carolina does exist, so they're rooting for them. So,
well, it's just that my thing is at the expense of the team that is in Hartford right now. They root against that team because it's connected to the Rangers, as opposed to supporting that team and then complaining that the NHL never come back. It's like, well, if you want the NHL to come back, support the team that's here.
So you're just
show
bitter.
That there's support.
You're just bitter that nobody's supporting the Wolfpack.
No.
That's what it is.
I'm bitter that the Whaler fans that live in the Hartford area, that root against the Wolfpack succeeding, and then say that there should be an NHL team in Connecticut.
Well, who's rooting against the Wolfpack?
There's people that are Whalers fans that root against the Wolfpack succeeding.
But they
want the NHL back in Hartford.
But that's different, Mark. That's
what I'm saying.
Those are people. You can't change people.
You can't.
So that's different.
You know what I can change? The subject. And that is,
please, because
what we're up to this week.
Making no sense.
How was your weekend, Bryon?
It was surprisingly a surprising weekend for me. I can go into it now. My weekend.
That's what we asked you about. That's why you're here.
All right. Okay. So, as everyone knows, before COVID, pre-COVID, a couple of years, 3 years. It seems like a very long time. I've been selling toys and my old collection, and I've been doing the shows, the local shows.
Yes.
And because I'm selling my older comics, I've acquired other comics, and I've been slowly going through my stuff. And I had like 7 short boxes of comics I would bring to all these shows. So, they ranged from $1 to $50. You know, nothing spectacular, but
Not garbage. Yeah.
like $5, $10 comics.
Yeah.
I had a $50 Superman. I think that was the most expensive comic I had in there. But I had a lot of 20 buckers and all that stuff. But anywho,
not garbage.
Yeah, it's mid-tier stuff.
Not 25-cent bin stuff.
No. It's all bagged and boarded. They're all good condition.
Yeah.
I mean, my own collection, everything's bagged, boarded, all in great condition. So if I were ever to sell it, I would get a good value. I would get a good amount for it.
Yeah.
So anyway, my 10 wide tag sale happened this Saturday, which over 95 people participated in, 95 households, I should say.
Yeah.
It was a great turnout. All the proceeds went to the Enfield food shelf. I think they posted on Facebook how much they made. They did a great job earning a lot of money for a great cause.
On the proceeds, you mean like the selling of this, being a part of the tag sale?
Yeah,
like
I paid $25.
Yeah.
So each person paid $25 to have their name put on a list.
Yeah, I'm saying like you didn't like what you sold didn't get contributed to the.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse people. So this goes on. This is the 10th year they've done it. And so you pay $25 to the food, you donate $25 to the food shelf. They put your name on a digital list and a map, so people can download it, print
like
it.
It's published by the town and promoted.
And they go and put signs out for you.
Yeah.
They put a sign at the end of your street and in front of your house.
Yeah.
And now that money goes to the food shelf.
Yeah.
The money you make, you keep, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's a whole different story.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put out a lot of my stuff I would sell at a show, plus household items, yada, yada, yada. We know how a tag sale works.
Yes.
I put out 6 of my 7 short boxes, and I was selling my comics, buy 2, get 1 free, because I wanted to just sell stuff. I just want to get rid of this stuff.
Yeah.
Not even 2-3 hours in, Mark. So this thing started at 9 a.m. This is not even 11 o'clock. This older gentleman, long beard, kind of looks like someone who doesn't read comics, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a guy who works on trucks. He didn't.
Yeah.
He
made pre-assumptions, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pre-assumptions that I didn't put 2 and 2 together here. He comes up to me and he says, "Oh, buy 2, get 1 free." He looks at him and he goes, "I'll give you $400 for all of them." Now, I said, well, I have 3 shows booked. At $400, I'm losing out on the money I would make at those shows, and I already paid. I'm going to lose that money because I'm not going to have anything. So I wasn't willing to part with $400.
Yes.
And then he just looks at me and he counts the boxes and he goes, "Do you have any more?" I go, "I got 1 more box upstairs I didn't bring down. So I have 7 boxes. He goes, "I'll give you $700 cash right now." I thought about it for a split second and I said, "Sure." That's $100 a box.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. So I helped him carry down to the car. He was telling me he has a massive collection at home. He buys collections. He takes what he wants and then he sells stuff online, which God bless you. It's a tough market to do. Especially online, everybody they want their part of what you're selling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting that full amount. eBay takes a part. Everybody wants a part.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. He never heard of any of the shows that happened, which amazed me.
Yeah.
I did tell him about him, and maybe I'll see him, but he ended up going to all the tag sales in buying up people's collections. My wife went to a household. She was tag sailing later in the afternoon. She overhears the owner talk about this guy shows up and paid $150 for his kid's comic book collection. And then when he bought it, he had just said how he spent $700 on my collection. And my wife, Allison, said, that was my house to the guy. So this guy was just gobbling up everyone's collection Saturday. But that doesn't mean I still have 2 boxes. I have a 3rd box of stuff, of newer stuff. So I'm still going to be doing ClipsCon in 2 weeks. I still will have comics. I will have a newer stuff though, and I'm probably going to sell it pretty cheap. And I have tons of new stickers, and I'll have a bunch of stuff. So I will still be doing these next 3 shows. I will just not be dragging 7 freaking boxes of comics with me. Yeah. I was amazed. That's
a pretty good deal. I mean,
like
I said to you when I talked to you over the weekend, I have some comics here. I have some comics that I can give you too if you want to restock a little bit to get back to for the next couple shows. I have some stuff I've been meaning to get to you, and
I'll take whatever
and stuff. So
I'll take whatever. But I mean, I was talking to my wife about this. She's like, well, do you want to restock? I go, no, that's what I wanted. I wanted to get rid of this stuff. The only reason I was taking stuff in is because I was already doing it. And I figured, well, why not? But now they got rid of it. I'm going to be down to 3 boxes, and I will probably just keep it those 3 boxes. And just slowly get down to 2 boxes would be ideal. But I mean, that was the dream.
When I do the shows with Matt, like seeing these guys hauling in all these boxes of comics every time, it's just like,
dude, you know, these guys fantasize about one day someone coming in and be like, I'll pay you $5,000 for all this. And they're like, okay. Because we've heard stories that's happened to people. I fantasized about that happening, Mark. Believe it or not, there were some days where I didn't make a lot of money. And I was like, man, it would be so great if someone just walked in here and be like, I'll just buy everything. And I'd be like, sure. So
like the old toys I could get into doing, I think, more than I could the comics, because old toys you can they churn through quicker, I think, than comics do.
Yes.
And it's more bulk, like space. Toys, whereas the comics, there's you have to have a lot of them to make it worth doing.
Right. Like I said, I still have enough to make it worthwhile. My 3
like you were saying, 7 boxes of short boxes, even that'd be 4 long boxes. It's a lot of comics in each one of those boxes. You have to haul around everywhere to make anything worth your while of going anywhere. I mean, people don't understand. It's like I had 7 and I was buying other people's collections for pretty cheap. But the whole thought process is the more I have, the more I can sell, because I have more to give inventory.
But if I have a small collection, no one's buying it, then I'm just wasting my time.
Exactly.
But like I said, I probably just have newer stuff, and I have short stacks I didn't sell to the guy. And I'll probably do super cheap just to sell, $1, $2 a piece or something. It's also one of those things too. I've talked to the guys that do it at the shows. It's at this point, it's hard to get into that group of guys that sell the comics, because there's so many of them that have been doing it for so long. That they have all the avenues covered. You're not going to come in and you're not going to find new people to buy comics from. Because they've already made connections with those people and they're already getting comics from those people, or they, at the shows, it works out to being just dealers buying from dealers at one point. Sometimes and it's just you're just one guy's taking stuff from one guy's booth, and then it just ends up at his booth the next time. And he's selling it for more. Maybe. It's just it's an ongoing. It's but fishing another fish in its same neighborhood, basically. Well, in that regard, Mark, that the last couple of shows have been massive. We've been getting a lot of people that are into this hobby, which is great. And I mean, obviously, Disney Plus and MCU and all that stuff have really helped people get into comic books or comic book collecting. So, and I think the last couple of shows have been phenomenal. Well, the one thing, I've had that conversation
I know I've had it with Matt and other guys. It's just like I think another strange thing from the like an added bonus, unexpected bonus of the pandemic is everyone was stuck at home. So people are looking for things to do to entertain themselves. And I think they kind of found comics again. Like a lot of people found comics again because, oh, it's like, I want to read, but I don't want to read a whole book, but I can read a comic. I can do that online, but oh, I want to get like I want to get back into reading my old stuff and finding the old things I read, reread them again. And
right. Totally. Yeah.
so it's like that weird, like a lot of stuff's getting that, like a lot of businesses are just getting that like revitalization of like the movies, the movies, like wanting to be a part of that again and get more back to normal kind of stuff. I think that's what's driving people coming to those shows and stuff.
Yeah. So I think ClipsCon will be really well attended
this month.
So let's give all the information out right now. Like you said, the 29th, it's the DoubleTree by Hilton.
Yes.
Which is in Bristol, Connecticut at 42 Century Drive.
Yeah, it's basically across the street from ESPN.
Yeah, and there is a sign that says pointing here, parking.
There'll be a big sign. Yes, there's always a big sign up front.
There will be raffles every hour, free coffee and donuts while supplies last, which will be quick if I am there. And Matt from Free Lunch Studios will be there doing caricatures and for commission and bringing a bunch of games and whatnot. And you will have, what will you have, Mark? His premiere.
He'll be debuting his new comic, Brenda.
Right.
Who is a character from his Food Fight comic, who he's spinning off into her own book, which he'd kind of done a little bit here and there in the past. Her first, I think, solo thing. I could be wrong, but I think it was just recently the Western Mass Zombies season program. He did a one-shot story for her. It was kind of like a la the old Harlem Globetrotters meet the Scooby-Doo gang from back in the day. It was that kind of story where like the zombies came through town and met and they were zombies, of course. So he drew all the different players as zombies, and they like come in to play a basketball game against the local town team kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So they did that, but then he's been working on this story. Like I think I talked about last week. I talked to Matt since then, and we think it's been about 4 years he's been working on getting this published. So
holy crap.
Yeah. So he's been doing on his Patreon site, he's been releasing 1 page a week of the comic for $1.
Oh, nice.
Join his Patreon for $1. You get 1 page a week. And it's a black and white 1 pages, but he's putting out as the hard copy comic at CliffsCon, the first one. So there's going to be 3 covers that he's releasing that day. The standard cover, which is like an homage to an old Conan comic, sketch cover version, and then which is another homage to something else he explained to me, but I don't remember what it was now, and a Marvel-esque 70s Marvel type comic version, which is a CliffsCon exclusive version.
Nice.
So yeah, so he's gonna have all those at the show. So he's very excited about it. I'm very excited because I heard about the story 4 years ago, where we were at IHOP before one of Bill's mall shows back in the day when he was still in the mall. Yeah. Here at IHOP, and Matt read me the whole story, but he didn't show me any visual stuff. Just read me the idea of the story. And I have not seen anything since. I've seen bits and pieces of like blocks of pages, but never seen a full anything, like nothing completed, just all like blue line stuff. Very, like I told him, like, I don't want to see anything until it's done. I want to be surprised like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see the finalized version of it, because if it's even a quarter as good as the story that he told me 4 years ago, it's gonna be a really good comic. I'm really excited. It's an all ages book, so you don't have to worry, like your kids can buy it, you can buy it, anyone can buy it and read it. It's very fun. The story, it's very like fantasy-esque. It's set in like a Conan type world. So
That's cool.
It's pretty very cool. Yeah, it's very Matt, basically, is what the book comes down to. So if you know Matt at all, you know who he is and what he's like, and the book is very much him. So
Are we gonna have Matt Ryan on the show?
I'm going to try to get him on next week because I know we have the shows that next weekend.
Yeah, it's next week.
So I want to reach out to him and see if he can do it when we do the show. I know he's working now at a full-time job, so I want to see if he's available next Tuesday when we record. If not, then maybe I can record something separately with him or something like that. And
I was gonna say you could record something
Edit
and
in.
edit it in.
yeah, so that's the other option. So I'm gonna work on that this week and see what works best for him.
Well, or we could record a show on Sunday if he's available. Sunday I'll be home. If you're home,
Okay.
we could just record our show Sunday, and if Matt Ryan's available, then we could just do that. Could be our show. We could just post it
That's
on-
an idea. We can talk about that after the show.
All right. People like to hear what goes on behind.
What might happen. What might happen.
What might happen.
Random ideas that we never end up doing, like the
You'll
600 show idea that we never ended up doing.
You'll find out next week.
Yeah.
Um,
Had all these grand plans for episode 600 and that didn't come to
well,
so
kind of COVID
yeah,
and
so
you weren't in
COVID reared its
studio.
head. We kind of got
I would
hooked on
love
that one. So
it's also hard because it's hard to get everybody's schedule together.
yeah,
I mean, going to the movies, it was just you, me, and John.
yeah.
Like Rocky couldn't, he had to work.
Yeah.
Hutzel, he
Forgot what day it was. He had
he-
jury duty and then thought that it was the same day as jury duty, and then it was even close to the same day, and then
Yeah.
couldn't remember how to get the Enfield movie theater, even though he lives 2 blocks from it. So it was a lot of work.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So I've given up.
Dan
I
was
would
off
like-
in the middle of somewhere on some.
I would like to do a game of some sorts in the
Surgery.
studio, or maybe we could do 650.
Yeah,
And there's so many things happening, good and bad, right now that it
Yeah.
probably is not a good time anyway.
yeah.
But let's
I had stuff happen that threw what French in the works. So
what?
I had stuff that threw wrenches in the works too. and
Right. So 650, let's plan on that. Maybe we
Yeah.
can do something special.
That sounds like a plan.
Maybe life will be better for all of us
Hopefully.
down the line.
Yeah.
I do have one thing.
Oh, by the way, my weekend was good too. Just
What? I was going to ask you. I had one more thing, and I was going to throw.
Oh, you had one more thing. Like one story that you were going to go into for news stuff.
No.
Oh, okay.
One more
All
thing.
right. What was your one more thing?
I was going to say I finished Letterkenny season 8, which was fantastic.
International Women's Day.
No, that's the end of season 10. I finished season 8. Season 8 ends with Katie, the guy.
Oh, yes. Katie
Um,
and Dirk Bentley.
Yeah,
Well, Dirk's
I'm not
fine.
gonna ruin it. Watch it. Fantastic ending. And then I watched the opening episode of season 9. Those were my favorite episodes of all time.
Yes.
That episode was freaking fantastic. The rap in the beginning was so freaking good.
Yeah.
I love it when all the characters are together and they're
Yeah.
all eating at a diner.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't see them all together that much, but when they do, I don't know. There's just
Yeah.
it's very special.
And the guy comes in and they're like trying to start the fight with him, and they're like,
The Americans,
talking back to him and giving him different things. It's
my God, they're trying to confuse them with words.
so well written. So well written.
I
It's
know.
amazing to me, the writing in that show.
So freaking good. It's the only show I cared about watching right now. I mean, I'm not watching anything else really.
I thought about it like over the weekend because it was just like one of those weekends, and I was like, I kind of want to. I'm gonna restart watching it again because I can't think of anything else I want to watch. I just want to get back into it. I'm gonna start from the beginning and just still go into it again.
Yeah, I mean,
Burn through the 10th season. Yeah, till the end of the month.
starts next
Already
week.
aired this past Friday in Canada.
Canada, yeah.
The first two episodes came
So that
out.
means I think we're gonna get it week to week. So we might get the first 2 episodes and then
The
week-
27th. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's great.
first
Um,
episodes of that. First 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't have any plans that weekend.
That's gone. What else? It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I know. I got nothing going on. I got plenty of time.
Well, it's not like you have to
I'm
watch it all at once.
I'm gonna need another one of those weekends from a weekend. That's what I'm gonna need.
Seriously.
Oof.
That was the only thing I wanted to say. Mark, how was your weekend? Anything worth of noting?
Actually, yes. On Saturday was the first race of the Northeastern Champ Kart Series, which is my kart series I own. Our
Okay.
first race of the season in Londonderry. So my brother and I drove to New Hampshire Friday night to get the track set up, just banners and stuff, hang up stuff, touch base with the track owner and stuff like that. Stayed at probably my worst hotel choice I ever did, ever.
Real.
I stayed at a Super 8
Oh,
in
God.
Manchester.
They're bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You live and learn.
You live and learn. I feel like I slept on a brick, and I'm still feeling it on today. I woke up yesterday and I feel like my hip was falling out of my body, and today the same thing. It's just it's not a good sleep on Friday night.
Did you bring your own pillow?
I did not. I never do.
You should, because those pillows suck.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Horrible.
But I could have brought my own bed, and I still would have. Yeah, it was. As soon as we walked in the room and realized there was no closet in the room, we knew I'd made a bad choice. So
if the bathroom is in if down the hallway, you made a bad choice.
That would really have been bad. But I mean, it was one night.
Yeah. It did the job, right?
Spent a total of like 10 hours in the room, so it wasn't like that big of a deal. But
now, what was the breakfast like?
There wasn't one.
That's the sign of a bad place.
I usually, you could, Claire and my brother and everyone will tell you this. I usually make sure every hotel I stay at has a breakfast. If it doesn't have a breakfast, I will never book it.
But you did.
But this one I decided last minute to go up on Friday. So I just went with the cheapest one I could find, because I was like, I'm just going to sleep there. I don't care about anything else. And I knew there was a Dunkin' right outside. So I was like, I'm good. So, yeah. So we had the race on Saturday. We had a lot of carts show up, which was awesome.
That's
It was
good.
a rough day. A lot of accidents, a lot of craziness. Carts flipping over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had 4 carts flip over. It's the fastest track that we race at all year. So that's why I put it first to kind of get out of the way. So I get my stress out of the way, eat early instead of thinking about it until the end of the season. So, but no, it was good. It ended up all working out. So yeah, did that Saturday. And then yesterday we had a thing for my mom, which I don't think I've ever actually talked about on the show. I tried to, I think, weeks ago.
Right.
Unfortunately, my mom passed away end of April. No. Yeah. Last week of April.
Yeah. Easter.
So,
it was right around Easter time.
Day after, like 2 days after Easter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we did a thing for her yesterday. We spread her ashes at her church and all that. So yeah, so that was yesterday. So that was a rough
Right.
day.
I saw your post on Facebook.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was a great day for it.
Yeah, it was nice. That was the one good thing.
Yeah.
I said as we were spreading her ashes, my sisters bought a butterfly bush that we put in the back of the church and put her ashes behind that. She loved butterflies. So I said I literally had a dream Saturday night that we were doing it, and it was all set in like a Seinfeld feeling. Like the aesthetic of Seinfeld, like the very kind of like, you're in a studio set, but it's all kind of acted like it's not a studio set. And that the wind blew as we were putting her ashes down, and it like went all over everybody. So.
Well, that's the end of that's in the Big Lebowski.
Oh, is that what it was? I knew it was from something, but I couldn't remember what it was from.
When
it was all set. It was like
throws Donnie's ashes.
Yeah, that's right.
Flies right back and hits the guy right in the face.
Yeah, John Goodman. That's right.
Yeah.
But I knew it was from something. But yeah, so there was like that, but then it had like the Seinfeld like music right afterwards. Like, so I even said that when we were doing it. I'm like, I had a dream last night, and everyone got this right back in their face with the wind blows.
But that didn't happen. But
It didn't happen.
okay.
Yeah, that'd have been a story. That'd been a story to tell. But
yeah.
But no, we did that. Then we went to Lulu's, which is like the consummate Enfield thing to do, I think, after a family event of some sort.
Weddings, graduations,
everything ends up at
funerals.
Lulu's.
You go to
Lulu's or Figaro's. It's one of the two. So
right. I'd much rather go to Lulu's, but
yeah. Lulu's is option A, Figaro's option B.
right.
They're both great restaurants, and I will suggest both of them because we did Figaro's for my rehearsal dinner. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that was yesterday. But no, so yeah, and in June we're gonna do a celebration of life, get together, cookout, hangout thing instead of like a full on like ceremony thing. So
yeah,
my
That's
mom would
your
have wanted
character.
stuff not super formal. She was not into the mourning like sadness thing. So
yeah,
trying to make it light, trying to make it not so somber, I guess.
I like the whole celebration of life thing. And there's a few other people that passed away that are doing similar things.
Yeah.
And I told Allison, I go, when I die, just have a party. I don't want people going to a funeral, being sad, and
which is what my mom would want. She
Yeah.
Loved doing the memorial. She loved when I did the Memorial Day parties at our house,
Right.
my parents' house. She loved when we had your graduation party at my parents' house.
Yeah.
She loved that. She loved having everyone around, having a good time.
Yeah.
Basically. And she would used to say it. The only time she would very rarely swear. She loved when everyone was hanging out, shooting the shit, kind of thing. She wouldn't say that because she would never say the shit word, but she loved when people just hang around, telling stories, laughing about old times and different things. And
yeah.
so that's what she would want. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing. I think that's a good way to go. And I think your mom would love it. And yeah, those are some of my fondest memories of my 20s and early 30s were at your place.
Yeah.
So totally.
Yeah.
Should be a good time.
Yeah. As I was joking with my relatives yesterday, because multiple of them asked, I thought, is Brian not coming? I was like, no, we kind of kept it to just the family. I was like,
I thought about it. I'm like,
I thought that'd be weird. I don't want to make it weird.
Well, the thing is, you invite one person, then you feel obligated.
That's what I said. Others. I said I felt like if I invite Brian, then I gotta invite John, then I gotta invite this one, and then I want to turn the whole thing, and then their wives come, and that's why we're doing a thing in the 4th, so everyone can come to that and do that kind of thing.
Yeah, celebration of life is going to be where it's at.
Yeah, but even my relatives all know the running joke of my mom had 2 boys and then adopted 70 other boys and girls. So
yeah.
So
it's very
so happier things. Let's talk about happier things.
All right, let's transition.
How, but let's try.
Okay, well, last week we didn't touch upon Halo, and the finale of Halo is this week.
Is it really?
Yeah, episode 9. It's only 9 episodes.
10 episodes.
No, it's only 9. The finale is this Thursday, which I have not been watching them, but I've been watching the highlights every week. I probably will watch this last episode just to see what a train wreck it is. But we didn't talk about the Quan episode, which was, you say it wasn't that bad, but
it wasn't terrible.
There were some dumb moments.
There was, that's the whole series. There's dumb moments, but
and the part where she drives into a sandstorm, eyes wide open,
no window,
no nothing. She sees something. She stops her vehicle in a sandstorm. She sees something in a sandstorm. She walks out, and someone puts a burlap sack over her head and kidnaps her. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, that is like writing 101. It's like a smart writer would figure out a better way of doing that scene. That was just like a monkey at a typewriter moment. It was just like, who wrote this? Why did this? I feel bad for the actress because it's not her fault. Her storyline sucks.
Yeah.
And then this past week, It's a very predictable show. We predicted there would be a Quan episode. We predicted that Master Chief and the chick there, I don't know her name. I can't think of it now. They were going to do it. And guess what? They had a beautiful date on Reach City, and then they boned. And it was just like weird. It's like a bizarre fan fiction Halo show where Master Chief is not Master Chief. He's just this dude who I don't know. It's just like they took an IP and stuck it on this.
Like they took an iconic figure and just generic them.
Yeah, big time. And
it doesn't even like seem like a real Halo product. It seems like the dollar store version of Halo.
Yes, very much so.
Because he's outside of the suit more than he's inside of the suit, which we've talked about on this show before. That I think the reasoning for that is it's unlike with The Mandalorian, where they've bought into the idea of you don't need to see the actor's face all the time to be able to tell the story.
But it's part of the lore.
They do in The Mandalorian.
But it's part of his lore too.
So is it in Halo?
There is nothing in Halo about him keeping his helmet on. It's
he
just
never took it off.
He's never taken it off because he's a Spartan and there has been no need to.
Yeah.
So there is no lore. This is true.
No, I think it's just, I think they, instead of going with the thought process of him, of buying into the lore-ish version of Halo where he never takes his helmet off because you're always in action.
Right.
In the video game, they went the opposite direction, be like, well, when he's not fighting, he wouldn't be wearing his suit all the time.
Right. Which is all the time in this show.
But they counteract themselves with the fact that every other Spartan in the series, except for the other one that took the emotional thing out of their back, is always shown in their uniform.
Yeah.
They're never not wearing, like, I think like one time they've all not been in their Spartan suits. Yeah. Like they don't have their helmet on, but they still have their suits on. Like they're walking around doing things without
He's got the Under Armour on.
He's wearing like just his like, Under Armour.
He's naked,
everywhere.
walking around with his butt cheeks hanging out.
Yeah, but they're like always in their full suit basically. So
it doesn't
like,
make any sense.
I don't know if they're like trying to like pull off the, like trying to subliminally tell the story of, well, without the emotional chip, he doesn't feel like he has to wear a suit all the time. He's like more free to walk around as himself.
I don't know.
But it just like they're like trying to like heavy-handedly to like
give Chief
a story that makes no sense.
Yeah. So Mark, I want to go back to a conversation we had a couple weeks ago, and you said
even just this last episode really quick, like you were saying with Master Chief and McKee, yeah, that's the girl that was part of the Covenant. Their story, even in this last episode, made no sense.
Well,
I'm watching the actual episode. I know you just see the recap, so you don't get the whole gist of it. But the fact that the episode starts, she's in her room, he comes in, they have the moment after they were on the Halo last episode.
Right.
Where they look at each other. And my first thought process, this whole thing is, if he's just now like learning about emotions, when has he ever heard about sex? How does he even know what that is? How does it like even register with him about what that feeling is?
I don't know. And this woman's an alien.
And she knows it from the book that she's had, that he brought her. So I mean, like a makeout would make sense, but a full-blown love scene doesn't make any sense. It looks like they just wanted to shoehorn in a love scene.
Right.
You know what'd be good in this show? A love scene. Let's have the leads make out and do it.
I agree.
And then like after that, she like rips the laser beam out of her fingernail, which was disgusting and gross.
Why? That's a great weapon to have. I don't know why she would rip that out.
Okay, I think it was like them showing this, that she's accepting her human side and rejecting her Covenant side.
Dude, after one bone, it must have been the best
Yes,
bone of
must
all
have been
time.
well, she has never had one before, so the only thing she ever probably had in her was an alien. So
Jeez Louise. Like, this show makes no sense. And
he's a Spartan after all.
they're both special. They're like the 2 out of 1,000,000,000 people that have the special DNA. And now they have sex. So now
Well, they do the whole then they went into the random story of Halsey has always been trying to somehow work with or agrees with what the Covenant wants to do as opposed to the humans.
which doesn't make
Like
any
she wants to get the hold of the Halo for herself. And her assistant is really weird. I don't understand her assistant's.
He's a weird guy.
He's just a weird, creepy guy that works for her and agrees with everything she says, like it's the law, like it's some kind of cult thing. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. Like he's all like, I don't like that Cortana. She's taking my affections away from Halsey. I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
Cortana watches Master Cheeks have sex. And then
Well, he's in her. She's in his head, so it's kind of hard not to.
I know, but they
Can't turn it off and not see what's going on.
right.
Then Halsey goes to the thought process of their big plan, and the episode is Halsey is going to let John take McKee to the artifact, and then when they get to the artifact, she's gonna have Cortana turn off Master Chief, and Cortana is gonna take over Master Chief's body and use it as her own body.
There's no way. It's so stupid. That's
like it was so dumb that even the Cortana, in the episode, Cortana's like, this is a dumb plan. This makes no sense. It's like, I don't want to be in Master Chief's body. I want my own body. I don't want Master Chief's body.
And he took his chip out, which wouldn't that basically?
No, because Cortana is implanted into his brainstem in this.
Oh,
it's like she's right, and there's a thing right in the bottom of his brain where she's connected to his internal system. That's why she can talk to him in his head without the helmet on.
Right.
Not like in the video game where she was just like a chip inside his matrix.
In a helmet. Yeah, she's an AI.
She's actually implanted into his body now. It's like a symbiote kind of.
You know what? Thursday morning, I'm going to be watching this episode. I just want to see what the hell happens.
Well, then they as the thing's going on, they decide they're gonna have the other two or the other Spartans attack Master Chief for some reason.
Well, because his emotional chip's out.
Yeah,
they probably know.
They knew that at the beginning. She's known that he has taken it out, but then they find out the other girl took hers out. So they beat her up and lock her up, and then she breaks free.
Oh my God.
And then she helps Master Chief in this fight, and he's not in his uniform for some reason. Because why would you put your suit on? And then the humans find out that McKee was the one that did the thing on the ship that killed all the people. And then they try to stop her, and then she touches the artifact, and she I think now they're gonna say that she's gonna run away with the artifact because she says goodbye to Master Chief on the Halo. So all I know is I just looked while you were talking at the beginning, and the next episode's title is Bamboozled. So you know who's been boozled? Been bamboozled. All the Halo fans. That's who's been bamboozled.
Well, I'm going to go back to a conversation we had where you were saying, I think this show is made for not the fans.
Yes.
And
not the fans of the video game.
Right. So this is just ancillary evidence of that. I was at dinner with my family, and my brother brought up the Halo show. And my father, who doesn't know anything about Halo, but watches science fiction, and he has Paramount Plus, and he loves all the science fiction on there, he goes, oh, yeah, I'm enjoying that. That's pretty good. And then my brother, Anthony, just goes, yeah, I tried to watch the first episode. The moment he took his helmet off, I was like, this ain't my Halo. And I turned it off. And I I just said, it's just not for me. But my brother was just like, they did a good job with the Covenant and they showed everything looked cool. But the moment he took his helmet off, I was like, I don't know, who the hell is this actor? I don't like him. I'm not watching this anymore. So there you go. I think it is for a wide audience, not made for the gamers, but really just made for people who like science fiction. My prediction is they already signed in for season 2, but I bet you anything after season 2 will not be coming back. If I had to put money on it. It's weird. Nobody's talking about this show other than a few people. It's getting harder and harder to get reviews about it because no one's really covering it anymore because it's really not that good. So I just feel like season 2 is going to come out with a whimper. It'll end with a whimper, and that's my prediction. I don't see it going beyond season 2. They're contracted to do a season 2, so
yeah. I mean, I think the show, like you were saying, I think if you don't attach your preconceived video game thoughts to it, the show itself can still succeed. I still think if they get past this storyline of this, whatever they're trying to prove with this storyline this year.
And Quan, get rid of Quan completely.
Or I think if they continue her story, but not as much, like if she's just like an ancillary character in the show. And she's just like, we know that she's now the person that accesses the portal to get to the Halo without having the artifact. Like that's how Master Chief gets the Halo.
Yeah.
So he can do whatever they need to do to prolong the story. And then that goes away, whatever. But I think if they continue with the story of the way they're doing it, if they focus more on the fight between the humans and the Covenant and stay away from this backstory of how they're finishing up this backstory of how Master Chief becomes who he's going to be in the show as no longer controlled by the an entity and he's his own army of one kind of thing like he was in the video game.
He's not. I don't think that's gonna
happen.
No,
but I'm thinking if they were to do that in season 2, if season 2 was basically his thing of him going on his own, being Master Chief from the video game, fighting the Covenant to solve this whatever. Or there's some kind of like there was in the video game where Reach gets taken out.
Reach is going to get taken out.
Yeah, and the humans are, because now McKee knows where the humans are. They can go with it, So I think that's where this is heading, is that's going to be the thing, is that Master Chief is then humanity's last hope to survive, and he goes after the Covenant, and the season 2 is just him wrecking house for the whole season.
They gotta really. I don't think it's going to happen with these writers.
No, but I mean that's the hope, is that if you're any kind of Halo fan, they get the people back into it. If you get through this, basically, which would have been the first 2 minutes of a video game,
right? Just
telling the story, and then just get into the actual game itself, kind of thing. I think you bring everyone back. We want to see that one episode of Master Chief fighting the Covenant, riding a warthog, jumping off a warthog, just killing every alien that he gets his sights on. That's the show we want.
Yes, that's the show we want, and that's the show we're not getting, really.
No.
So I don't know.
I think it's just that like we've talked about before, you just have people who aren't fans of the game writing the show and are just writing a show that they want off of characters that they've been given. They don't know anything about it, so they can't
and they're not even that. They're very generic. It's very generic written. It's not clever because we've all predicted everything that's generally going to happen in the show.
Yeah.
So
it's just one of those shows that would be better off at a different place.
Yeah, we'll see on Thursday how this ends. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. Speaking of shows that ended that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, we got to end this show with Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. We haven't talked about it. When Doctor Strange happened, the thing with my mom happened, so we didn't have a chance to talk about it then. So we're talking about it now. Moon Knight, the last 2 episodes. Holy balls. Was this the best Marvel show ever?
I put it up there. Definitely one of my faves.
Yes.
I think it was uniquely done. It really threw you off when we enter the world of the hospital when we're in
Yeah, his psyche,
the
basically.
psych ward.
Well, his
Well,
psyche, like his internal,
yeah, but like you're at
like
first I'm
his
like, where
purgatory.
are we? Yeah, yeah. I'm like, is this real? Is this in his head? What is going on? Um, I love that stuff. And I think it made me really, yeah, like that was internal, right?
Yeah.
That place. It throws you off because I'm like, what are we doing here? What is going on?
Well, like I saw a lot of reviews after that, and everyone was kind of worried, like, oh, we're doing that trope of, you're going into your head to solve your internal problems, but it wasn't that at all. It was just that was like his like purgatory, kind of like his in between place between reality and the afterlife, like his own thing of trying to figure out what he wanted, where he was going to go, kind of thing.
Well, we figured out we figured out two of the personalities because his brother died, and his mom. Speaking of a horrible mom here, like does not let it go that it was his fault that his brother died, but it was his brother who wanted him to go check out this cave. And obviously he drowned. So it wasn't his fault. He was a little kid, but the mom just wouldn't let it go. It was a constant reminder, and she just went down this deep, dark path. And he created another personality.
Yeah.
To cope.
Yeah, to be like his protector, kind of his psyche. And then he invented another one, which I knew about, but the story never knew about.
I didn't know about it. I mean, I don't know anything about Moon Knight, but this
Jake Longley
was just a taxi cab driver in the comic, from what I read, and then in this one, he is a limousine driver.
Yeah.
Do you need to get that?
That's probably my brother, Jake.
But yeah, so the very ending, a post-credit scene is with Lockley, right? Did I say his name right?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it, yes.
He shows up and he's driving a limousine, and what was on the license plate? You noticed it? It said the last name of another personality.
Yeah. Spectre. That's Mark's last name.
That means Mark Spector has money.
Yes.
Which is something they didn't touch upon in this one, but in the comics, he's
a millionaire.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah.
It makes sense because of the stuff he was doing. He would have money to do such things.
Yeah, like he had like that locker that had all the stuff in it and everything.
Right. So. And he's globe trotting all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you're working at a gift shop.
Yeah.
Yes. So he shows up, and Ethan Hawke's character gets in, and he pulls a gun out and he shoots him, which I didn't think we would get a resolve on Ethan Hawke's character, but that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
You seem to be
No, I'm good.
Okay. What did you think about Layla becoming a Scarlet Scarab?
Scarab. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a great introduction to another character, because then it kind of like gives them another hero to use in that show.
Yeah.
Team up with Moon Knight on things. And then gives that, because then in the storyline wise, Mark's not Moon Knight anymore. So he wouldn't know what's going on. So they could kind of use that to get him back into being Moon Knight again. Like, well, I mean, Layla knows that Moon Knight's out there still.
Well, Steve and Mark have pretty much come to terms with Khonshu, right? That's what I got out of it.
No, at the end, he like says he released them. Remember, he says he released Mark from those like deal of being Moon Knight, and then like he
Oh,
was up in the insane asylum.
Steve and
And then-
Steven.
Yes,
Moon Knight. Okay.
yeah. Steven and Mark are freed from the Moon Knight responsibility, and
Right.
then Jake gets him out of the hospital, throws him in the limo, and Khonshu's sitting there in the suit, and then he introduces him to Jake.
So yeah, there is definitely more
Yeah,
person.
Ethan Hawke. Yeah, Ethan Hawke's in his Samsung. That's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
So
It's open to what more to
yeah.
come.
So in Mark and Steven's psyche, they've been released from being Moon Knight, but now Moon Knight is Jake. So that's gonna be that internal, like season 2, I think would be part of season 2 would be that internal struggle of Mark and Steven trying to take back control of the Moon Knight from Jake. Because Jake's like just basically a weapon of Khonshu. He just gets pointed in a direction and destroys
now,
without any thought to, consequences or anything.
I gotta ask you this, and I think I know the answer. Does this imply those moments when he blacked out, that was Jake?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Because that obviously we've seen Mark, and
Yeah.
he's not a fighter,
Yes.
and we've seen Steven, he can fight,
No,
but
Mark's the fighter. Steven's the
I'm sorry.
non-fighter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the blackouts would be like none of them are aware.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. Like I know, like we were talking about this with John, and John's like, it was kind of weird that the final fight is a blackout,
Yeah.
but it makes sense because it wasn't neither of them,
Yeah.
and that would have ruined the surprise.
Yeah.
That it was Jake doing
It
those.
also goes back to the scene in the purgatory part where they're like pulled Steven out of his sarcophagus, and then they show the other room where the sarcophagus is shaking and rattling and fighting, and it's kind of implied, oh, there's a third psyche in here, and that's who that was.
Yeah.
And that's the one that Khonshu was really wanting to be in charge, but used Mark as the conduit, so that way, he can manipulate Mark to do his bidding. So when he really needed him to destroy things, they would flip the switch to
Jake.
Yeah.
So that makes total. He is just a killer. He's a hitman. He doesn't care, and I like that. I mean, it didn't.
Well, because then it goes back to the story that they kind of told, like they told in this season, of when they said someone killed Layla's, like Mark killed Layla's parents. Or Layla's
yeah.
It could have been Jake. And then Mark took over the switch.
And he didn't.
And that's when that scene of him being attacked was from, because he had switched back at that point, and everyone was like, what do you mean you don't want to kill this guy? That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So like some of the missions he went on that he might not remember was Jake doing them, not him.
Right.
So that like opens up a whole nother part of the story that they've never actually delved into before. Because it's always been Mark was the mercenary that did all these things. And then they just basically made Jake like a random side character that he just used as a ends to a means kind of thing to kind of shut off everything and just become Jake.
Yeah.
So
they didn't announce season 2, so I was surprised we didn't get one of those tags.
They didn't announce it, but I mean, they left it very open-ended.
Yeah.
At the end of the series, it's not like they ended it with like a finale type thing. Like
Ethan Hawke's movie.
So, like they had Jake pretty much kill Ethan Hawke's character.
Right.
In the car. Well, they never showed his body, but they showed shooting happening, so they kind of assumed that's what's going on.
So we could get a Moon Knight movie, which I think it was well done to get an origin story as a TV show. I think we should get all origin stories at a TV show.
I don't think it needs a movie. I think you could turn season 2 into a show.
But a movie would be great.
I think you can slide Moon Knight into a movie.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to have his own movie. I think he could just be a character in another person's movie.
Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe he'll show up in something.
Like in like a Blade or Black Knight.
Yeah.
like in that universe.
Yeah. But yeah, we did get an announcement for Loki season 2, which starts this June.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But what do you say for Moon Knight season 1 overall, Mark? What is your review?
I will admit I have bias. This is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I will even still give it a 10 out of 10. I think it was the best Marvel series we've gotten so far, like in total, storytelling wise, and action wise, and it was, I think, the closest to a comic book of all of them. Like with the action and the grandeur of the fight scenes and the alligator lady fighting Conchu in the background of the actual fights and everything. And
That was cool.
just like, yeah, the brutality of it. It's like, wasn't like a watered down, like the other ones not have been as watered down, but like the fighting has been kind of watered down. It wasn't as brutal.
Yeah.
In the comic books. And Moon Knight's always been a rougher character.
Right.
Like, I think Marvel Knights was invented for him and Punisher, basically. So,
and yeah, totally. I mean, I agree. I would say this is a 10 out of 10 for me.
yeah,
I agree with everything you just said. I say the writing is top notch. The action, it really felt like a Marvel movie just cut up into parts. I just thought it was very well done the whole way through. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I think Loki and Moon Knight are my 2 favorites so far.
yeah.
All right, Mark. Well, next week we're both going to watch Halo. I will watch it. We'll see how this show ends. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll figure something out. Hopefully maybe we can get Matt Ryan on.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him as soon as we're done. I'll figure out what his week's like this week end or early next week that we can do something.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a show.
It's been a show, and we're a little bit thrown off because we're still working on our bigger idea of coming back into the studio and doing the show. So it's no longer on the Zoom because it's getting tougher to communicate through the Zoom. Not like communicate, but just like I feel like we're losing the magic. So
yes, we got to hammer out the details.
Yes, yeah, and I've talked to my brother about it, and he's into helping out. So
all right,
just figuring out the time of things and all that. So
yeah, being consistent, figuring out a good time.
Yeah. Some more news on that as we get closer to that happening. But yeah. So we got Halo, and we'll have more to talk about next week. Hopefully, getting ready for
ClipsCon.
Thor's our next big movie in July. So
Yeah.
All right.
Piece of paper, man. That's good.
And we won't have this problem where people
No.
just walk in the middle of the show. So
Someone just says you got a big one and hands a piece of paper.
no, it says they need a piece of paper.
Oh, I thought they said you got a big one.
No, so they need a piece of paper.
Oh,
All right, here's a piece of paper. Thank you. Goodbye.
all right.
All that and more here on the podcast.
See you
It's
next
been a
week.
good one.
Like, subscribe.
Yes.
And then,
as always, be well, be safe, be kind.
Rewind.
Bye, everybody.